freaking god! Come on already! Pokemon material after Pokemon material after Pokemon! Why? Why can't I at least have some variety when it comes to my commentaries? If there's a god in the sky, please give me some material. Ow. Ow. Well, apparently this god is a sadist. Huh? What's this? Oh. Oh, this is exactly what I've needed for a while. I'm back, baby! So let's dive straight into chaos!
Hey guys, what's up? This is Blaze the Movie Fan, and as a lot of you know, I fucking love the new Powerpuff Girls show. And I personally think it's getting far more hate than it deserves.
Okay, I really don't have a problem with you saying that you loved this show. My problem is that it shows that you're going into the commentary with some bias. And trust me, that's going to be important for later.
And the video I'm commenting on today is the prime example of that. So, anyway, without further ado, let's dive in.
Hey everyone, it's Justin with Stuff with Scoutfly, and I want to ask a very simple question. Do you like the Powerpuff Girls?
Absolutely, I fucking love this show, both the new one and the old one. And I think they are some of the best shows on Cartoon Network.
Okay, two problems here. One, why? What's the purpose of applying the Scout? He was making a rhetorical question to get the audience interested, but nope, you just had to apply with nothing of substance needed rather than derp, I like this show. The other problem is admittedly a nitpick, but you say that both the new one and the old one are the best shows in Cartoon Network, and playing the old one is still being run on Cartoon Network today.
If you're watching this channel, the answer is probably yes.
Only a few seconds in it, there is already a problem. You're generalizing everyone who is watching this video. Let me tell you something, not everybody who is watching your video is a fan of the Powerpuff Girls. You have to keep that in mind.
And what they try to do is fight crime in Townsville, USA. Oh, I still love that name, it's so good.
You claim to be a fan of the old Powerpuff Girls show, yet you got basic information wrong. The location of the show is the city of Townsville, not Townsville, USA. How the hell can you make such an obvious mistake? That's just mind-boggling.
Some will argue the quality of the later episodes in the last few seasons, but there is most certainly way more good than bad when it comes to the OG stuff.
I would argue that even the first season has its share of bad episodes. I mean, Powerpuff Bluff is an episode from the first season, and I think that one was total shit because of how stupid it was.
Okay, great. You think an episode from the first few seasons was bad. Good on you for having an opinion. That isn't even debunking what he said. He said that some people believe that the later seasons of the Powerpuff Girls were inferior to the first, but that still doesn't negate the quality of the show as a whole. And you end your interjection with you agreeing.
But I will agree with you though that the show is for the most part fucking awesome.
Why can't I die?
So with that, I want to ask the very polarizing question, has Cartoon Network killed the Powerpuff Girls?
No, of course they fucking haven't. If anything, they revived it.
Hey, calm down. Let the reviewer actually talk about why it's dead before interjecting.
This question is so fucking stupid. Now look, even if the question isn't meant to be taken literally, it still is a very stupid question.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know you can't control your voice. I know it's a speech problem. But I've watched this interjection several times, and I still couldn't properly understand what you were trying to say. Countless people have given you advice to start using subtitles. It might take a while, yes, but the quality of your video matters more than how much time it takes to make.
I mean, I get what you mean by that question. You are implying that the show has gone downhill. And I am willing to admit that the old show was better, but it doesn't change the fact that this question is so fucking stupid.
Isn't that a funny thing here? Blaze constantly says it's a rhetorical question, not meant to be answered, was stupid, and yet he doesn't explain why it's stupid. We're just left to believe his word for it, which is something you don't want to do in a commentary.
You got the characters, which is super cool and great, and they look fantastic, but these are the Powerpuff Girls, but they're not the Powerpuff Girls. Let me explain. Well, this show takes their personalities away and replaces them with your average kid on the internet in 2017, or as my good friend Pizza would say, a robotic, memeing drone. And honestly, I feel like that's the best description for the main characters in the reboot.
Are you fucking kidding me? Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the reason they act like kids is because they fucking are? Furthermore, they acted like kids in the original show as well. So your complaint here can apply to the original show as well.
Now on the surface, there's nothing wrong with this argument, but a look deeper says otherwise. See, comparing the reboot to the original is when the argument begins to fall flat. The original Powerpuff Girls debuted on television in the 1990s, and you didn't see that show using the same titled lingo you'd expect from something in the 90s. Compare this to the new Powerpuff Girls, where you could take something popular and insert it into the show for laughs. In this case, that something would be memes. I don't see a neck brace. Is it that hard to see a point flying over your head?
As for your point about them not having any personality, well, I will be getting into further detail on that when it becomes relevant in this commentary.
If you need someone to sing so bad, you do it! You make Ghost Step!
And then you'll be reminded immediately that this is a show that premiered in 2016 and is trying to just chase after that internet culture. It's like the people making the show go online and they research popular memes at the moment, and then they choose to include them in the show, but then when the show airs, months and months, maybe even a year later, the memes aren't relevant anymore, and honestly, they chose the Megusta one. When was the last time anyone's dropped that?
Now, of course, you have to complain about the internet memes. How cliché. It's almost sad how predictable this video is.
Because having a comic complain as other people completely renders that point as invalid. Am I right? And while yes, predictability can be a bad thing in reviews like this, you've never gone on to explain why, so derp.
Alright, let me explain to you why complaining about the internet memes is completely pointless. There hasn't been one episode that focuses mostly on an internet meme. Not one! And most of the times, the internet meme is such a minor part of the episode. Is it really something that's worth complaining about?
Are you serious? I don't even know my directions anymore because hell, this is backwards thinking. Because there isn't an episode of the reboot that focuses solely on the memes alone, it makes Scoutfly's complaint about it invalid. Second, while you are right that the memes aren't a huge part of the episode, it shows a rather poor quality of the show when they have to pander to the popular demographic. And it's shown sometimes it can be quite random. Best example being the very famous No Me Gusta meme. One that might work in context, an old meme that distracts those who aren't familiar with it. And also, it looks like your bad complaints are screwing with your hair. Might be best to do something about that, mate. I'd say use an avatar instead, but you've put down that helpful advice several times.
Just wait, I guarantee in the next season of the Powerpuff Girls reboot, we're gonna see Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles playing with these stupid things.
I highly doubt they are gonna make an entire episode that focuses on the fidget spinner. Wanna know why? Because like I said earlier, there has never been an episode that focuses mostly on an internet meme.
Two problems here. The first one being, well, it is hard to tell, I think Scoutfly was joking about the fidget spinners. Maybe hard to tell because of his poor acting skills, but given that a camera pans into his face, with him smiling and throwing it into the trash, it could easily be seen as a joke. Well, that or an over-exaggeration, but either way you took it too seriously. And also, refer back to my last interjection about memes for the second point.
It's almost like they're saving the 50th episode to capitalize on some huge internet meme. Maybe the people over at Cartoon Network are looking at Google Trends and trying to figure out what to do with a fidget spinner. Sorry, I realize I go too far in these videos sometimes.
That's such a shitty joke, and I already debunked your point about the fidget spinners.
Blaze, you didn't debunk anything. Please don't be in a play. You would absolutely suck at pretending. And as for the part about a joke sucking, well, why does it suck? There's no explanation. Well, never mind. That would mean you'd have to elaborate. Kill me.
And if we remember, back in the day, the original run of the Powerpuff Girls had crazy stuff going on. Some, like, out-of-this-world crazy shenanigans happened, but in this show, it just seems so simple. The old show had this really grand feel to it, where the problems, for the most part, were bigger and required more thought from the characters than they would usually supply. But they'd get together, think it out, and always save the day, and if you think they can't, well, they'd always find a way. Sorry, I had to. But here in the reboot, the problems are so small and simple-minded, it's almost like the people behind the show think the people that are watching it are a bunch of brain-dead morons.
I can think of an episode of the new Powerpuff Girls show where the Powerpuff Girls had to think things through, and that episode is Paintball. The villain of that episode was so tough for them, they even had difficulties fucking finding him.
Yes, because simply talking to the professor and hearing about a rainbow that led them straight to Allegro equals him being tough to find. They found that out in no time. Please stop exaggerating to make your point seem more valid.
And he was very close in beating the Powerpuff Girls. And Buttercup learned a valuable lesson by the end.
Yeah, the same lesson that she has to learn constantly throughout the whole entire series. Before you bring up the original again, let me point to the original series episode, Make Zen to Me. This is an episode that touches on the violent Buttercup trope. And guess what? The original didn't recycle this and make her have to learn to be calm every few episodes again.
And I could argue that there are episodes of the old show where the Powerpuff Girls didn't have to think things through. One example I can bring up is the first episode where the princess appears in. They managed to beat her very easily the first time around and didn't have to think much.
Well, thanks, Blaze. Thanks to you for not giving context. Heck, you didn't even give the name of the episode. I had to go searching back for that episode, and while searching, I found a lie, which can be sold at the Pokemon for $100. So Princess beats them real easy, huh? Is that why she was able to take out Buttercup and Bubbles, and had to leave Blossom on her own to beat her?
It's really bizarre seeing all the huge changes in the show. The writing has completely changed and is nothing like it used to be.
Really? You're not gonna complain about the fact that the show is different? Let me tell you something, if it was the same as the old show, it would be very stale. I mean, look at what happened to The Simpsons.
Which is a rather stupid complaint, considering the problem with The Simpsons is that it won't stop running. In fact, it keeps running. The Simpsons was never rebooted, so that renders your point null and void.
The original series was funny, but at the same time, it knew when to be cute and when not to be. It wasn't forced at all, and not for one moment did you think that these characters weren't tough.
I could make the argument that the old show tried to be funny at the most inappropriate moments. I mean, for fuck's sake, there was an entire episode that was just about the Powerpuff Girls laughing at the mayor's ears.
An episode which I couldn't find while recording because you couldn't bother to give any details of the episode other than that. God, please.
Also, could you elaborate on what you meant when you said that it never felt like the Powerpuff Girls weren't tough? Because I don't know what you mean by that.
If you don't understand what he meant by that, then you need an entire bag of Pringles. He was clearly stating that no matter what the situation happening was, comedic or otherwise, the Powerpuff Girls were always tough. They were never weakened to strengthen the plot, something the reboot is guilty of. Darn it, Blaze, Nero's Q did a better job than you. Frick!
Bubbles is the kind of cutesy, happy-go-lucky character, Buttercup was the tough one, and Blossom was sort of in the middle to give each of them a little bit of balance. You could easily pick one of them to identify with, especially as a young kid. But here in the reboot series, all of the characters really do feel the same. It's like they're the one character. It's almost like they copied and pasted the personalities from Blossom, gave it to Buttercup, and also gave it to Bubbles. They all feel the same.
Everything you described applies to the new show as much as it applies to the old one.
Okay. Look, I know I'm cutting him off, but this is getting ridiculously repetitive, when every one of your arguments is basically, this happened in the old show too. It becomes annoying because it ends debunking what he's saying, because he's saying it happens in the reboot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are differences between how the Powerpuff Girls acted in the old show and how they act now, but their overall personalities still remain the same.
Personality. The combination of characteristics or qualities that form an individual's distinctive character. There's multiple problems with this argument. You just said before there were differences between how they act in the old show and how they act in the reboot. So really, in other words, the personalities aren't the same. I can strengthen this point by bringing up certain episodes. Say the episode Viral Spiral was shown that Bubbles is the techno geek of the group, one being the intelligent one was originally part of Blossom's personality. And speaking of which, let's talk about those traits. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. In other words, French fries! But no, in all seriousness, let me bring up Bubbles again. He's supposed to be innocent, naive one, who tends to go into a fiery rage constantly throughout the series. So that personality trait is kind of gone, ain't it?
This show just feels like one huge replacement, and speaking of replacing things, the characters aren't even voiced by their original voice actors for the most part, at least these three aren't. And without those voice actors, these characters again aren't really what they used to be, and Craig McCracken, yeah, he's long gone from this.
Has it ever occurred to you that the reason why this show has new voice actors is because it's a fucking reboot? Also, you're complaining about the voice acting? Really? That's just bitching for the sake of bitching.
So because it's a reboot, they apparently can't have the same voice actors? Why? That honestly has no semblance of logic to it. 1. If that's the case, why do Mojo and the Professor have the same voice? 2. One of the reasons people like having the same voice actors back is so that the show remains true to its characters. The voice can make a character in some situations, and makes the character iconic. Cough cough Bugs Bunny. And also, complaining for the sake of complaining? Nah, too easy.
So, to answer the title of this video, has Cartoon Network killed the Powerpuff Girls? Yeah, honestly, I really think they have. Not only with the quality of the show itself, but also with the overscheduling of it on Cartoon Network.
Oh no, the show is on when you don't want it to be on. Cry me a fucking river.
Wow, you have no idea how condescending you sound right now. Simon Cowell will be proud. No offense to Simon Cowell, his insults are fabulous. Also, in the possibility that this was a joke...
Boo! You stink!
People will say that I'm not the target audience for the Powerpuff Girls, but I can go back and watch the original classic series of the Powerpuff Girls and it's just as good as it ever was, and watch shows today that aren't for me, like Gravity Falls and Steven Universe. And those shows are all amazing and they hit every note. This excuse can't be made anymore. A bad show is a bad show regardless of the target audience, and the same goes for a good one.
This is something I completely agree with you on. I find it very fucking stupid when people defend cartoons by saying, oh, it's for kids, you aren't allowed to criticize it. That bullshit annoys me to no end. I mean, yes, that most cartoons on Cartoon Network, they are for kids by the end of the day. But to me, that doesn't excuse shitty writing. I mean, yes, children have low standards when it comes to entertainment, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't put any effort into whatever you're making. And I also wonder how these people are gonna defend a bad R-rated movie. Obviously they can't use that defense when talking about that. There they have nothing.
I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I cursed the name, the one behind it all.
Now it's time for my overall thoughts. Look, my intention of this video is not to try to change your opinion, nor am I trying to say that you're wrong for disliking the new Powerpuff Girls show. The main purpose of this video is to critique your points. This was such a poorly done video. A lot of what you said can apply to both the new and the old Powerpuff Girls show equally. But hey, if you still dislike the new Powerpuff Girls show, that's cool, man. I respect your opinion.
So you're saying the main purpose of your commentary was for critique, and yet you end the commentary with not giving Scoutfly any advice on how to improve. Screw it, I'm getting some McDonald's. Okay, final thoughts done. Blaze, I've been in this community for only a few months. You've been here for more than a year. The fact that I was able to counter nearly all of your arguments says a lot. Other commentators are giving you great advice, but you just don't seem to take it. You still agree with what your target is saying. You still tell you how to understand it and put in subtitles. And you can't bother to elaborate on some points. Just try to improve at all of these things, and it will greatly help you in the future. Anyway, this is Jonah Smith, and remember, you're next!